Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. It's your girl and I'm back with another numerology video. So I geek out on numerology. I want you to geek out with me, and today we're going to be talking about life path number 2. So the life path number is one of the most important numbers in your numerology chart. It basically tells you a lot of your characteristics that you might have if you are a life path number 2. It tells you a lot about like your characteristics, your identities, things that like identify with you, as well as it reveals maybe what your life purpose is. It kind of narrows down like what your niches might be in terms of like your personality and like what you would vibe with in terms of things like your career path or other people that you are most compatible with. It just reveals a lot of stuff, and I think it's really cool that it tends to be super accurate. So today we're talking about life path number 2. Number 2 is the second number in the numerical order. So 2 second. A lot of the life path number 2 kind of resonates with like the motherly figure, if you will. Number 1 is the father. Number 2 is the mother, so to speak. But basically, life path number 2s have the power to come together with others and find balance in relationships, concepts, and things. They're all about diplomacy and harmony. They're really good at like problem solving type stuff. So the way you calculate the life path number is you add up all of the numbers in your full date of birth. So month, day, year. You add up all the numbers to a single digit. You get 1 through 9 single digits off after you add up all of those numbers. And so if you add up the month, the day, and the year, and you come up with 2 being the single digit of all of those numbers added together, then you are a life path number 2. So in numerology, the number 2 is represents people that are very gentle, not forceful. They're diplomatic, they're tactful. They are able to keep the peace, basically. They're the peacekeepers. So a lot of times it's referred to as like the mother, because it's usually like a nurturing type of energy that you get from a life path number 2. If you are associated with number 2, you're a survivor and are extremely resilient. Number 2s also carry a strength to offer great advice during times of turmoil, meaning that they have a different point of view in certain situations. So basically, like, they're very diplomatic in that they see both sides of a situation, and they're usually able to keep the peace because they'll find the middle ground between if there is some type of conflict at hand. They're really good at finding middle ground between both parties because they're looking at the total situation. They're not being one-sided in any type of way. Let's see. The number 2, I'm looking at my notes, sorry. So the number 2, in the tarot, number 2 is the High Priestess card. High Priestess in the tarot is somebody that is quiet, but highly intuitive. And that's very resonant of a life path number 2. They are not probably going to be like the loudest per se, but they don't have to be. They use their diplomatic skills, their negotiating skills, because they're super intuitive, and they use that to basically like man problems. Like they use their intuition to help them resolve issues. They're like the main problem solver. So let's see. Personality traits of a life path number 2. 1, they're very intuitive. 2, they're very diplomatic. 3, they're very influential. 4, they are very sensitive. They can be very sensitive. And 5, they can be indecisive sometimes. So with the personality trait of being intuitive, I touched on that with being very similar to that of the High Priestess and the tarot cards. So they're able to empathize with others. They give needed support. Their intuition coupled with their desire to find partnership makes 2s great friends and supportive partners. In terms of them being diplomatic, they have the power to unify and find harmony even between the most conflicting opinions, because they look at both sides of a situation, and they're able to allow for agreements to form based on the fact of they're taking from both sides. They're very influential, and a lot of that has to do with the diplomatic part of it, because they are looking at things from a totality spectrum. They're very influential because most people will find that they're fair. They're not being one-sided one way or another. They're basing their negotiating skills based off something that seems fair, because both sides are being taken into account. Let's see. Number 2s can be very sensitive. They can often struggle to keep a grip on their emotions when they perceive that there's an imbalance. They have a sensitive energy that doesn't always respond well to the winds of change. So they like to keep things status quo, like no rocking the boat. We're not trying to be super dramatic in this thing. Like, you know, the 2s are very even keel. I know, because I have a couple of 2s in my immediate family. So like very chill, very diplomatic, just fair. Not with all the dramatics at all. And then the last characteristic was sometimes life path number 2s can be a little bit indecisive. And that's just because sometimes they can find themselves getting stuck in the middle of 2. Most of the time you're gonna want a 2 in type of a mediator position, so that's where they find themselves a lot of times. And so they might find themselves stuck between, you know, 2 people, some type of argument, conflict, because they are looked at as a peacemaker. So they can find themselves in the mediator position a lot. And that's one thing where they don't want to be unfair. They don't want to make it look like they're taking sides, and so sometimes it can be hard to come to a decision. So sometimes that can be an issue, but even just the shape of the 2, you know, is like curves. And so even with the shape of the number 2, it kind of shows that one of the things that a life path number 2 person has to learn is to stand up for themselves, you know, versus like the number 1. The number 1 is just straight, and its base is standing straight. Because of the curve of the two. Sometimes that's a lesson that a life path number two has to learn, is to be able to stand up for themselves. Let's see, what else do we have? So some of the best career paths for life path number two person, they have a great ability at mediating and communicating with other people. So they find themselves in roles with a lot of human interaction a lot of times. So this could be like counseling, some type of a counselor where they're able to connect with people because they understand their feelings, and they're patient. They're very patient people, so they're really good in these types of positions. They make great teachers because they are very diplomatic. Some of them can even be politicians if they're really confident and have a lot of strength. They could be very good at politician, at being in the political world, finally. And yeah, and so a lot of them are just natural, like I want to say like low-key vibe, like they're just like the natural, I don't know, I want to say like hippie vibe, like, you know, just not with the dramatic. So like they could be caretakers, would be like a natural position for a life path number two person. Any kind of peacekeeping, stay-at-home parent, like they're gonna keep the status quo, like they keep things on an even keel. So they keep things running smoothly. Let's see, what else? So if you're a life path number two, other life path numbers that you're most compatible with is gonna be a life path number 6, a life path number 8, or a life path number 9. So life path 2 matches the best with life path 6, 8, or 9. And let's see what else. Oh, yep. So, so as a life path number 2, you are a natural negotiator and mediator. Often you're the power behind the throne. You do not always receive the credit or the recognition that you deserve. You may be overly concerned with what other people think sometimes. But you will find success in careers that allow you to help others. Fields like mediation, teaching, counseling. 2s have exceptional taste when it comes to like design work. So like interior design could also be a career path option that would be good for a life path number 2, or anything kind of in the arts, because they usually have good taste. 2s also can exercise their strong negotiation skills and intelligence, like in politics or in law. Some of the famous life path number 2s are Angela Bassett, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, and Vera Wang. They're all life path number 2s. So that's what I have on life path number 2s. Thanks again for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Your girl will be back in another video, and I'll be going over the characteristics and life purposes for life path number 3. Thanks again for all you guys' support. Really, 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 really appreciate it. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.